Well, folks, today's the day. It's been quite a journey. Those of you that remember me sitting in a chair playing with him as a little colt, and then started him at 3, so he's 5.5 now, and he's ready for the Two Rein. Now, the Two Rein for me isn't typically not a very long time. I feel like I've got most of my work is done in the hackamore by the time I actually connect the curb strap to the spade. Now, I've never been on his back with a curb strap connected to the spade because I wanted to document this. And I'm not concerned about it because he's made in the bosal. So I've got the bosalito and the small macate. And I've got my curb strap set so that I don't get beyond that far in this bit. And what's going to happen in the next month or so, you're going to see this adjust, this might change, this will be adjusted, and everything from here back, I'll be tweaking it. In other words, I do little things to it as time goes on. Now, once I start, as you know, I use coastal reins, so it changes the dynamic of this thing, how it works. There's the palm concho, so I've got plenty of room between the palm concho and the rein to adjust, because what's really going to happen is the more I ride him, the more in collection he's going to get. So when he does get going on the collection, I've told you about this, but what'll happen is, what I'm after this year is to get him set up for the correct amount of distance from here to my rein, to the position of me roping, which is right there. When I get to that position, then I'll take the links out of this chain, but in the interim, while I'm working on it, I'll take this twisty deal and I'll pick up 2 links maybe, or 1, and I'll shorten the chains like that. And then I'll have them where I can let them out or shorten them or whatever it is I want to do, but I anticipate shortening these chains. And then after I've got him set up for the length that I want for roping, then I'll just cut the links out and then hook it back up, and then he's set for the rest of his life. So that's basically how this whole thing works. Now, there's some folks I need to mention because they've been on a similar journey as I have, and some of them have literally got the same age horse and have done the same thing, like my friend Mike up in Mariposa. And I've got some folks that are real dedicated. So part of this is to show what I've been talking about, and I wasn't able to show it. Like for Patrick over in Santa Maria, I got to meet his family and be on the ranch over there helping out a little bit, and took a horse over. And I got to tell you, I got to be on the coast of California, in the hills, gathering in the oaks and having lunch under a pepper tree. Now, for those of you that know that I'm a history buff, the Mission era, that was a perfect day. And it was a real pleasure to meet everybody over there, especially Patrick's daughter. She's in a dance class, and I got a feeling she's going to be really good at it. And then the Mike in Mariposa literally followed the videos of Chinaco to make his colt. And I mentioned it a while back when I was up there, how impressed I was and what a great job he's done. So this will be Mike's next thing that he'll get set up. And Jim, of course, up in Washington, where I got the bit from, I appreciate him and his family because they've been with me this whole journey. And Jim and I have a couple things in common. One of them was our good friend Ray Harmon, and the other was the fact that he got hurt right after I did last year. Except he got hurt a lot worse than I did. And he's coming on. He's gaining. Pete and Jen over in Australia, of course, you're the folks that made it possible for Deb and I to have such a good time over there, and you're carrying it on. And Will, Our friend in Australia, he sent a picture. He's buying an Andalusian horse. And we want to wish him all the luck in the world and hope this will help. In Montague, I got to spend a day with a whole bunch of really nice people a couple weeks ago, and they're interested in the bridle horse. And so, especially, I want you to see the diameter of this when you go into the Two Rein. That's what I was trying to share with you up there, that the Puckett has to be very small to make this whole thing practical. And then Kim and Randy and Caitlin up in Oregon, of course, they're our good friends that we had the fiesta at, and we'll be doing it again next year. They wanted us to come back. So, and then there's a whole lot of people that send me emails and have gone through this whole thing from him, from a colt to here, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate your support, and it's been fun conversing about this whole thing. So now you're into whatever chapter this is, and we'll take it from there, and thank you to everybody. Now folks, what you've seen is when I do a clinic, a lot of times I'll transition a snaffle bit horse into a half-breed at the clinic in one day, and it's because the horse is more than ready and the human's done all their work. They just need to be pushed over the edge. And what I do when I introduce a bit is I stand on the ground and work it by hand in a clinic situation. But this horse is trained off my skeleton, so it's not going to happen the same way I would a sliced her on a 12-year-old gelding. He listens to my body more than my hands, which is kind of the point. So I'll be getting on his back and then contacting the curb strap, which will be the first time. But you'll see the process and how I go about it. Now, as you know, I've told you this 100 times, this horse is going to be a ranch horse. That's his future. Now, if I need it, I simply take this piece of cord and I'll hook it over the saddle horn to tie up the rein if I so choose. But that's just basically when I'm hanging him. That's not when I'm riding him. So I've got the rein, I've got it long, and I've got my hackamore, his primary. That's what you're seeing.
You want to talk a little bit about that? Because everybody does it a little different.
There's lots of different ways, but the way my hands are made, this is how it works. But if you look at the reins, you're going to notice I'm going to contact the bosalito before I do the Ramal rein. Now I just exhaled and sat down. Now watch the contact on the bosalito. It's already been there. So I'm just going to walk around like I do at a clinic, and I walk around the arena. And I'm basically just letting the horse relax. But Chinaco he's set up to ride off the hackamore. So this transition period, if it works, isn't going to take very long. He's rolling the cricket, and what you're going to watch is that his nose is going to come in about a half an inch more over time because of the bit. Now the curb strap is holding the bit in a position, so now the skull is going to match that position over time. So now watch the contact of my Puckett once again. As you know, I just sit up, take my legs off, and I ask the horse to walk backwards. Okay, you can see my rein moving, but the point of contact is the jaw. So the stop, he already knows I exhale and sit down, and he stops. I don't have to pull. Now, please understand that one of the big problems of people that make bridle horses is by the time they get to here, they still don't have any collection. And that's what Patrick ran into over in Santa Maria. He's going to be able to fix it. and I've seen this in a lot of places I go. If you don't have collection, and you get into this level, you're beating your head against the wall. You have to have some level of collection on a horse. So once again, I just sit up, lean back. Now I'll go forward, ask him to stop, and walk backwards. Forward. Now, I want to show you the mechanics of it. This is me riding in a Two Rein. Depending on what I'm doing, there'll be times when I have my rein set up this way. And what you'll notice is that the palm concha, which is going to end up here, is over on the other side right now because I don't want to pull on the romal rein. So there's my Two Rein set up for riding my horse. Now, if I have to, I can in fact rope. I've got room to lay my coils across here. Down the road, I want to show you the end result, is the palm concha will be here. There will be no macate involved, and I'll have collection right here. Now there's way too much slack here right now. So this is all going to change. This will shorten up, and I hope it makes sense to you, but when I'm done, the rein will be the perfect length here, and I'll be holding my roping. The bottom of my hand is in line with the top of my saddle horn. So for now, this is what it looks like. And I might as well touch on this now, but those of you that have been in my clinics know that I'm very adamant about how you place your feet by rolling your toe out to cue a horse. Well, once you've got that down, it isn't forever rolling your toe out. I'm going to ride straight at the camera, and typically if I wanted to move over, I would tell the people in the clinic to turn your toe out so the horse can feel your calf rotate on the saddle. Okay, after you've got this, the horse understand it, you don't have to roll your calf anymore. You simply lay your calf on the horse, like right now, and the horse moves over. So it's a temporary thing. Now, I'm moving my horse's feet, but I'm concentrating on my left hand. There. So you go from this to this. Remember that. Always keep raising the bar. Displacing, excuse me. Now that's how far I displace my weight. Okay, now down the road, when I say excuse me, I simply lean forward and put my leg back. He still knows I've displaced my weight, but I don't have to over-exaggerate like when I'm teaching. When it's all done, you won't be able to see me move, but you'll see my horse do whatever it is I want. If I'm looking for that, you'll notice my hand's sitting on the saddle horn. Now, if I need to help, this is why you have a Two Rein, folks. If I need to help, I can pick up one side or the other. Let me set this down for a second. I can do this if I need to. That's why you don't do this with a romal rein. That's why the reason for the setup of the Two Rein. So if I want a left turn, I can pick up that left side. You see how the left side's tighter than the right? Right turn, reach over. If I need to help the horse. Okay, when it's all over, of course, it'll be dead even. And I simply explain with my skeleton. So this is why the Two Rein. So I'm transitioning my hand from doing this to holding straight, which, oh, by the way, is the exact same thing it's going to look like when I'm done with this. When I'm done, my hand will be here and I will be riding my horse. There's the curb. I just contacted with the curb strap. Okay, I can feel it. I can feel his body moving around because it's a new sensation. He's never had it before. My job is to not overdo this with the curb strap. That's why the Two Rein. My job is to get this horse very comfortable like this first. So I hope you can see what the transition is going to look like. But there's the posture I want from him right there. That's the horse bridled up. Okay, you can see how tight the reins are. They're not. So please understand what he's doing now with the angle of that spoon, which is almost straight up, but it's not straight up, is he's balancing the bit in his mouth and it's hanging like a pendulum. He's been 6 months carrying the bit, so he's not afraid of it. He understands it. Now it's being stopped. It's not going to swing because the curb strap stops it. So he'll work on finding that balance point, and that's the journey I'm on now. There it is, right there. Now, something else I mentioned that really happens is that if I'm in a situation like working cattle in a corral, and the cattle are kind of touchy, like I'm just teaching how to calm them down or something. If I don't like the corrals, if it's bed springs and propane tanks, you just take the whole entire spade bit off and ride in the bosalito. I rode in a bosal up in Oregon roping cattle a couple weeks ago because I didn't want the bit flopping around in his mouth, just in case things got western. And he did get, one of the heifers did come after him and got up underneath him, and he just got out of the way. He didn't blow up or anything. So pick your rides. When it's all over, of course, this part won't be here. So I hope that kind of shows you where we're at. And once again, I always think about the guy that said, why don't you just get on the SOB? And I always get a kick out of that. And I want to thank him for sending that. And hopefully he'll see this and figure out that this is why I didn't get on the SOB. But anyway, it'll just keep going up from here. Thank you, folks.